Hailing frequencies out.
And we are live here on Star Trek Livingstone, the Star Trek Adventures Modiphius RPG live game. We are down a player tonight. Sadly, Chris can't make it for this session, so we'll be autopiloting. But we have with us, of course, we have Alastair.
Hello, Stu. How's it going? Good, thank you. Ready for some more tunnels?
Yes, a proper actual dungeon crawl this for an RPG.
I know, with spiders and everything. Yeah.
Big spiders. And playing two characters, not just one, we have Ed.
Hello.
That's definitely a unique take on your usual, well, not even usual half and half. You do half and half.
Well, as we were saying before we started, there are many more options to go. So this is just the next one.
Okay, I'm wondering what the next one might. I suppose diagonal you could do.
Yes, diagonal. I think. Yeah.
It's a surprise.
And one that's very, very ambitious. Thanks, Matt.
Yes, we do indeed have Matt with us, Dr. Bosh. How
Hello.
are you doing? Working hard or hardly working?
Oh, definitely the first one. If only I could get around to the second.
Excellent. Well, you've got to earn that latinum, haven't you?
Yes, I do have my new toy, though.
You do?
Yes,
New toy.
new printer.
You've been talking about this.
Yeah, it's set. It's in position. It's not plugged in. I haven't calibrated it. Literally, I had time to kind of tidy the space and put the printer there, and then that was it. And now I need to spend some more time calibrating it and printing stuff.
Now, viewers might be wondering why we're getting excited about a printer. It's not just any old printer, is it?
No, it is a 3D printer of a much larger scale than my current 3D printer.
So we can print really big spaceships.
Like,
excellent.
Literally, one sec.
Oh, get the
And he's
shiny.
gone. Can we print an understudy for Matt? Is that what we can do?
No, actual consoles that beat.
Oh, he's back.
Current build plate so about the size of a phone.
Excellent.
No. New build plate.
Whoa!
Oh.
Very nice.
And largish iPhone, and still, yeah.
Yes.
So
almost 4 times the size then.
oh yeah, it needs like full handles to lift it, rather as opposed to the yeah. So
4 candles.
Yeah. Fork out, yeah, handles for forks. So yeah, like lots of fun prints eventually when I have time.
Well, Captain Quinn, hello, Captain Quinn. Good to see you. Has already placed an order for a pad.
Yes.
Fit.
Props, yes.
But I would say, would that be a TNG pad or the classic TOS pad? The wedge-shaped. Looks like an Etch-a-Sketch.
I did.
That's what I always put in mind of.
In the first pilot, did one of these yeomen actually hand Captain Pike a clipboard with some paper on?
Quite possibly. And we might be able to answer that tomorrow because I'm doing a special stream. Come on to that in a moment, though, because first of all, we haven't said hello to Amy yet.
Hi.
Lieutenant Commander Davok. You're here as well. We haven't forgotten you, of course.
I know.
Indeed. So I'm going to do a very quick promotion before we get on with today's game. Tomorrow, of course, as everybody knows across the universe, why wouldn't you? It is official Star Trek Day, not to be confused with First Contact Day, which is a different day. But tomorrow, September the 8th, September the 8th, 1966 was the first time a Star Trek episode was ever broadcast. So September the 8th is now Star Trek Day. So to celebrate, I'll be doing a watch-along stream of the first ever episode that was ever aired, which is, of course, everyone.
Menagerie.
Nope.
Pilot.
The Man Trap.
Nope. The Man
Man
Trap.
Trap.
Alastair gets it right, yes. It wasn't even supposed to have been the first episode because the first one was supposed to be in Charlie X.
Oh.
Yeah, the pilot was never meant for broadcast. However, they used the footage for the menagerie. So you're not wrong there, Matt. But yeah, and then, of course, when the menagerie came out, nobody had seen the pilot. Nobody publicly had seen the pilot. So, yeah, there we go. So I'll be doing a watch-along. I won't be showing the episode because broadcasting rights and all that, but you can basically watch me watching it and commenting and laughing at bits and providing...
That's only what they do on the football nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So, so if you line it up on your DVD or on your streaming service of choice, then you can watch along with me. Anyway, that's not what we're here for tonight. We are here to see the end of your character. No, we're here to see how your characters resolve the day. And as mentioned, you are currently in a dungeon crawl. How are you feeling about this?
Well, I'm a bit stressed.
You're a bit stressed.
I'm a
Did
bit
the
stressed.
spiders stress you out when they came
They
out of the
do.
ground behind you and attacked
Yes.
you?
Yes, I feel stressed for that. I don't like spiders. Who does?
How many stress points do you have left?
I'm not giving you numbers.
I'm curious to
Rookie
know.
mistake.
I mean, I would never adjust anything one way or another on
No.
that. But
I'm only slightly stressed. I'm not made to be stressed in any way. But it's okay because the last thing I wrote this time is that Reggie is good with his
he is indeed. As well, we know. Yeah. So is anyone arachnophobic now, where they weren't before?
I'm just very glad we haven't had to wash any eggs to get as far as this.
And there aren't any toilets to hide in.
No,
Anymore.
well, we found out that any more, and they always attack in fours.
You wouldn't tell me even if you found more at this point, right, Ed?
No, we have no strategies at all.
No, don't know what you're talking about.
No, absolutely not.
Don't mention
Okay.
the non-Alastair Discord. What?
Now, I've realised I haven't prepared a log for anyone today, which is really remiss of me. I have literally just this second realised that. However, as you're in this dungeon crawl, basically, you wouldn't really be recording logs.
Well, we've all recorded logs at really weird, inappropriate times in front of everyone.
I know.
So I feel like maybe someone's done a log somewhere.
Because you never know who's doing the log. I did think about this earlier, and I was like, "Oh, it clearly isn't me this week. That's fine."
Yeah.
Yes,
I was thinking it's been a while since I've done one, but I didn't hear from Stu, so it's fine.
To be fair, I just presumed it was Alastair. So you could have just said that you gave Alastair a log and he's lost it. And
No, you gave it to
Which character even delivers the log for me? That's the question.
Do you know what? Let's
Let's hear Alastair's version of a log.
No, I wouldn't. I know I did that to Ed once. No, I think you volunteered. You volunteered, didn't you? Once.
I think I was in the middle of bedtime story just beforehand. Right, I'll just write one.
But no, what does Captain Wagner think about all this so far? Because he's not had a huge amount of information.
Yeah, he's a little bit clueless, really. He's still shipboard whilst the rest of the party's been on the surface, and he has the gist of the situation, and was starting to make some preparations to maybe talk to the leader of the community on the surface. But as that was going on, the team's headed below ground to check out a power source in a cave network and has been jumped by lots of giant spiders. So I think Captain Wagner's going to have to wait for them to reappear to get up to speed on what's been happening.
Well, Captain Wagner presumably won't know that they've been jumped by spiders.
Absolutely not. He has no idea.
if I remember this correctly, the last I heard was a report that they were going to head down into the surface.
Yep, yeah. I think he just found out that there was no prospect of getting the crashed ship that we were here to rescue originally moving anywhere, and the team was heading below the surface. So that was that's all he is up to at the moment.
Okay, well let's bring ourselves back into the game, right where we left off after, spiders have been killed. What
Sounds so sad.
would you like to do?
Well, I've got a comment written in one of my notes, and based on that, is it okay if Reggie has an investigate of one of these spider corpses, the one that he apparently Kirk-fisted to bits?
Actually, I just realised I said they've been killed. Of course, they've been stunned, haven't they? Because you're all non-lethal. You can absolutely examine. Reggie can examine one. What would he like to look for?
Well, Reggie has a bit of a suspicion. He says, he was wondering, are they somewhat mechanical? They were described as being angular in look. So, is he able to have a look at it and see, are they biological or more biomechanical?
Excellent. Give me a... This is going to be an insight and medicine roll.
That's not pretty
As you
good.
scan it with your non-medical tricorder.
Yeah, Reggie just picks it up with his Russian tour.
It's going to be difficulty 1. And before we start anything, you have 2 momentum. I have 4 threat.
Oh.
What's the start date, Stu?
Oh, God. No.
I'm putting you on the spot here. No, you got to tell me a number.
Slightly more than it was than the last one.
The next day.
So, the last one was
It's the same day.
57379.2.
This would be 57379.3.
Cool.
Guys, a few hours have passed.
That's 2 to 3 is a few hours, not 1.
It is. The everything preceding the decimal point is basically a day. So after the decimal point is its position in that day.
And how do we measure hours now?
Quite easily is the answer.
Or is it still hours?
Save me. What
It'll cost you a threat. No. Reggie has rolled up and rejoice, sons and daughters of Andoria. We rolled an 18 and we rolled a 7. The target was 9.
Right, excellent. So you don't find any mechanical elements to the creature.
Okay, so they are fully biological. They're actual Gribblies, Mr. Wraal. They're proper Gribblies. Oh, look, it's bleeding, this one.
The chitinous shell is indeed angular in places. However, that's not... it's not usual, but it's not uncommon. It's not like, as you look at this thing closer, it's not like the edges and angles are like really sharp 45-degree angles. It's more sort of rounded edges. So almost more like ridges than anything.
Right. Okay. Well, that sort of that answers, or that brings to an end one line of questioning, which I was wondering about. But that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you have another?
No, that was it. That's the only note I'd put.
Right.
Do we have an idea of how long we're going to be knocked out for? Well, we got no way of guessing.
Davok, you can give me an insight and medicine roll, please.
So,
You scan with your tricorder.
Beep, 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 beep. Ooh, I got an 11 and a Starfleet symbol, so that's 3 successes.
3 successes. Do you know what? 3 successes. You're getting a momentum.
Yeah.
Is that a 2 difficulty?
It was.
Okay, cool.
Because these are an alien life form that you've never encountered before. However, sort of comparing across various species, you managed to figure out in your tricorder that you reckon they'll probably be out for a couple of hours.
Okay. So we just want to be aware of that.
100%.
I'm not going to leap back on us.
There's a free bit of information.
I don't get that for a medicine check.
Oh, do you not? No, you don't get a free bit of information. Thank you for your honesty there.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, we should be aware of that in case they attack us again. Or should we move them? Throw them into a sun?
I can nuke them from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
We had scanned for where the power source was last week, hadn't we? Do we have any idea how long it might take to get there?
You don't. Unfortunately, your tricorder range is just not far enough.
Okay, so yeah, we don't know when we might be back this way for slumbering spiders to wake and have another go.
We should probably not waste any time then.
Well, I think. Is there anything that the good doctor would like to take from them? Any sort of samples, perhaps?
I mean, if I could work out whether or not they are, if they're sort of excretions or anything that I could pull up that would be of use, I do have a focus in that.
I used to mean valuable.
Okay, now you're saying of use. Do you mean of value?
Of both, because my focus does suggest use and cost.
Excellent. Okay, so the Herogen meets the Ferengi. Give me an insight and medicine roll. This is going to be difficulty 2.
Good. I have a 15, which is my insight and medicine combined.
Okay.
15.
Meets.
And I have
beats.
a 7.
Excellent. So yes, there are a number of chemicals and compounds inside any living organism, most of which will have some level of value to somebody somewhere, as you know. Nothing strikes you as particularly of value. However, you do discover one bit of information. They are distantly related to the sentient species on the surface.
Ooh.
But distantly related in the same way that lemurs might be distantly related to humans.
Are you suggesting that these spiders like to sit in the sun and scratch their balls, as someone very eloquently puts on the Danger Club in the last episode that I've been listening to?
Well, who doesn't like to sit in the sun and scratch their balls? Oh, and congratulations to the Danger Club, by the way, on their 200th episode. Quick shout out to them. Yay. So there you go. That's what you've discovered.
Lemurs. No, that they're related. I was thinking,
and perhaps more importantly to Bosh, of limited value.
yeah, there's no point in bleeding them dry.
No.
And grind them down into some profitable powder. Yeah. Okay. That being the case, then, if no one else has anything to particularly pause on, then I think Wraal will indicate that we'll press on. But this might be a good time for him to try his communicator and see if he can make contact with Livingstone. I suspect that we're a bit too far underground.
Let's see. This is going to require a roll because you are quite deep underground. Going deeper underground.
Yeah.
There is
Control and
too much
engineering.
panic in this town.
Difficulty 2.
Super.
Okay, have I got anything to help with that?
Yes,
No,
you
I think-
have 3 momentum.
I will hang on to that. Control engineering is 12s and under. And we get a 3 and a 4.
Oh, nice.
Okay, Captain Wagner, incoming hail on the bridge.
Hello, away team, Commander Wraal.
Captain. Status update. The away team is currently, as we reported, heading under the surface of the planet to investigate the power source further. Just to let you know, we have been, I would say, attacked. Maybe we provoked. We have encountered a arachnid life form under here, which we were warned about, but we have managed to overcome them with zero lethal force, with negligible consequences to ourselves.
Good work, away team. Keep me posted on your progress, and we're still working to try to get the transporters into an operational state here. We'll keep you posted on that.
Very good. I will update you as far as we can. If not, we'll try to return to this location in approximately 2 hours' time. And as we know, that this particular area, we can get a signal through. We'll see if we can get back to here to communicate. If we can't, further on.
We'll be waiting for you, Commander Wraal. Good luck.
Thank you. Wraal out.
Okay.
I think it's time to press on, team.
Now, to be clear, as much as that particular communication to us sounded absolutely crystal clear, to yourselves it wasn't. It was a little bit spotty and crackly.
We are picking up. Yeah, we're going deeper underground.
Excellent. So you head on forward, further and further down into this winding, dank, humid, and the further in you get, the more humid it gets. And in fact, the temperature is rising with it. So Quark, Dr. Bosh may be enjoying the humidity, but perhaps not the temperature. Davok, on the other hand, temperature's fine. I mean, Vulcans, they're fine with temperature. Humidity, less so. What Kaitis, Reggie, and Eelin think? Well, Reggie would be uncomfortable with the heat, wouldn't
Reggie
he?
will be. No. I don't like it too warm. Oh, I like warm, but this is too warm.
Yeah. But yes, and you keep heading, but it's not oppressive, just uncomfortable as you head further and further. Occasionally you hear movement coming from around, but not too close. However, nothing comes of it. And quite regularly now, you're feeling tremors beneath your feet. In fact, the further underground you get, the more frequent the tremors seem to be, to the point after maybe half an hour's walking, it almost feels like consistent tremors.
That seemed to be almost like the thrumming of a deck plate near a warp core.
That would be a good analogy to make.
I think we're getting a bit closer to our objective. This feels like we're getting close.
And indeed, after another sort of 5 minutes of this, and this thrumming getting more and more intense, you turn a corner and see another sharp corner ahead of you. There's light coming from it.
Mr. Davok, tricorder, please. See if there's any energy readings which would be unusual up ahead.
Beep, boop, 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 boop.
And you don't even need to make a roll. There is a massive power source just ahead around the corner.
Is it radiation. Do we need to be concerned?
Now I'm going to need a roll.
Mhm.
Let's go with reason and science. I'm going to say difficulty 2 because it's a very general question. Is there anything we need to be concerned about?
Do you want to do have a men's?
It's okay. I rolled a 7 and a 4, so 2 successes.
2 successes. Excellent. With your 4, is your science 4?
It is. I do have a focus in warp core thingies and astrophysics.
They're my favourite.
Favorite type of thingy.
Neither are going to apply, I'm afraid. That's a shame. But yes, with your 2 successes, there is no unusual radiation, certainly no harmful radiation coming from up ahead. There are radiation spikes, but nothing harmful.
Okay.
Certainly not harmful to any of your colleagues who are with you.
Wonderful. And I do get a little extra tidbit of information that roll.
Of course. And the energy readings are fluctuating
Ooh.
in a manner that suggests it is unstable.
It's unstable. What
It's
colour
gonna
is
fit
it?
right in with the Crow of the Livingstone. What colour is what, sorry?
The light.
The light, it is a white light coming.
What kind of white light?
Give me some options here.
Bright
I mean,
white.
you can have a soft light, sort of a snow white, that generally has a slight yellow tint to it, used for kind of warming spaces. If it's got a slightly more blue tint to it, you get the slightly more clinical feel. But it is a crisper light. You can see a little bit more kind of detail. It helps to accentuate the shadows.
I'd say it's operating on about 5,600 kelvins.
Okay.
So,
What's that in lux?
I've no idea. I only work in kelvins.
Or lumens? I'll take it in lumens.
No idea, but that's the warmth of the light anyway, not the brightness. It's hard to tell. It looks like basically the room is lit up and you're just getting the spill from that.
Cool.
But it is quite a warm light.
Does anyone want to go stick the head round?
Well, if it's got the thrum of a warp core.
To be clear, it's not the thrum of a warp core, but it's not dislike the vibrations you get in deck plating on a warp-powered vessel.
Yeah, I was just thinking if it was some kind of power supply that has a similar thrum as a warp core, then Davok would be the most obvious person to send
Yeah, it will be.
Fortunately, forgotten about that. He'd forgotten about that.
Do I have, as part of my standard issue Starfleet outfit, lights and sunglasses?
No.
That's
Vulcans
we're in
fortunately have an
space.
inner. Vulcans have an inner eyelid.
Oh, do I? Wonderful. Well, then
Yes.
I'll use that and go have a look.
I mean, you can't
It goes
control it.
sideways.
It does go sideways.
Yeah.
However, it's an instinctive response.
Okay, so I do that naturally.
I mean, you've
I
grown
think
up on a
it's really
planet with
bright.
2 suns.
Yeah, I'm sure I have.
Okay, so Davok is going in first. So Davok, you step around the corner as the guillotine foot. No, and you see before you an enormous cavern, vast cavern with only a single item in it, but it is absolutely huge. It's bigger than any warp core you have ever seen. It must be 30 feet high, 20 feet wide, but it's round. It's sort of circular around its base, with various what looks like conduits heading off into the walls of this cavern.
Is this a cavern I see before me?
It is lit up, and there are lights flashing on it. There appears to be a control panel of some description. And it's making noises and vibrating.
Oh, okay. There's a control panel. I think it's safe. I'll call back and say I think it's safe. This looks interesting, and we should all go and have a look.
That because Wraal will motion everyone to cautiously follow, but we'll just mention to Bosh, medical tricorder out, Doctor. Just monitor the away team as we go around, just in case there's any strange radiations that we're not normally aware of.
Yes, sir. There was also something else I would like to do, if possible, when seeing this machine.
Very well. Just give me a nod that you're doing it.
That was to Stu, but yes, sir. I will also tell you.
I mean, if you're all going into the room, that's fine. We can...
Yeah, I'd like to just, as we see this machine, I'd like to just do a quick. So I'm presuming tricorders store readings.
They can.
So they store information of not that long ago.
Break
I have
them,
a. Sorry, Amy, I missed that.
You break them.
Yeah, I tend to.
That's fair.
That's why Bosh doesn't know if they store information, because they never last long enough.
Can I request a tricorder from your new printer? Can I request a broken one?
Yeah.
I do have an STL for tricorders. There is actually, and I may have looked at it earlier, like when talking. There are STLs for next-gen pads, for Voyager pads, for original pads, and also Generations pads, which are slightly different. Anyway.
We're still going to play this around a real table with all the props.
Yes. Anyway, what Bosh would like to do is double check the tricorders. When he obviously saw the reading that they were distantly related. I want to have a quick look. Is there something that this? Are they a break-off, or are they something that's been changed by this machine? Are they like? Are they distant related from a further back branch, or are they a more evolved? Are they less evolved? Has something happened with this machine that has messed them up?
So they are definitely a different branch of an earlier evolutionary trait. As to less advanced, well, I suppose that depends on your definition of advanced. They certainly didn't appear to be sentient.
I meant evolved rather than advanced, but yes, sorry.
Okay. You would say that they're of the same level of evolution in terms of how many, or what they call things on DNA, strands.
Yes.
DNA strands.
Yeah.
Like our most evolved thing is like the crocodile.
Yeah.
And it has the most amount of DNA. I think it's DNA strands anyway. That
like.
in terms of that, they're about of the same level of evolution as each other.
Okay.
As to whether or not this machine has had any effects, you'd have to know a hell of a lot more about this machine.
Fair.
There's only one way to do that.
Blow it
Go
up.
to the control panel. Does this look in any way familiar?
Now, it's interesting you asked that, because I would like all of you to make an insight and science roll. I'm going to say difficulty 2.
Who has the
got
best
2.
chance at this?
I would like
Me.
everyone to make this roll.
Ah. Okay.
Starfleet symbol and an 8 for me, so 3 successes, is that?
Wow.
Yeah.
3
Extra
successes.
momentum.
That is an extra momentum.
I only got 2.
Got 2.
Afraid both Wraal and Reggie only scored 1 each on their rolls.
Okay, they do not notice this particular thing.
I also got a 3. I got an 11 and a 2. Is there anything that we can think about as far as medical compounds, emergency medicine, trauma surgery, triage, infectious diseases, or Andorians?
No, you can't use your focuses on this, I'm afraid. And in fact, I realised afterwards, so Reggie would be discounted from this anyway. And actually, so would Kitus. So that was my bad. I should have thought that through a bit better, but certainly Eelin, Bosh, and Davok. But Eelin doesn't notice anything. Bosh, but you do get the extra momentum, by the way. Yeah. Bosh and Davok. This equipment bears a bit of a striking similarity to the equipment you saw on the planet that Captain Webb and his crew visited. It's not exactly the same, but, you know, in the way that you can always recognise a Federation starship, no matter what configuration it is. It has a very familiar feel to it.
As in the people who made those massive pylons.
I'm going to secretly nudge Eelin. Do you remember?
What, you mean the Antrus logs? What?
Something about spiders.
We didn't read any logs about any other ships lost in this particular area, did we?
No.
Ah, yeah. Yeah. Ah, yes. Yes. Noticing that Reggie's looking at him really strangely.
Not as good as a wink to a blind bat. What would you like to do? This machine's in front of you.
Now, did we... Well, what actually happened to those machines? Do we know how to use them? Probably not. Is there like buttons on it I can press?
There's a control panel. Or what you assume is a control panel.
Can I use my focusing computers to do something like if we think that's a sensible idea?
Something now. I remember apparently one particularly brave, handsome, feline-looking science officer figured out something about the glyphs. Now, is there anything? Is it a glyph-style control panel? Is it as primitive as like runes or runic?
No, there are symbols on it, but they bear no relation to the runes or hieroglyphs that you didn't see. So, Davok, you say you want to do something. What something would you like to do?
Well, it's making all this vibration-y whatnot. So I just want to see if I can mash the buttons to get it to stop.
I mean, yes, you can mash buttons on this incredibly powerful power source and just see what it does.
Have you seen what's behind me? I mean, that's an option that we could eventually get to. It's there. You kind of want to use it. It's a control panel with.
Do you know what? As you're looking at the control panel, give me an insight and engineering roll. Difficult. Yeah, I'm going to say difficulty 3, but there'll be various levels of success.
Spend momentum.
I will do.
We have plenty.
Momentum. And I'll roll 3.
You now have 3 momentum left.
Am I using my focusing computers?
Yes, you are.
In that case, I got 5 successes.
5
I got a
successes.
Starfleet symbol, a 2, and a 10.
Well, okay.
So we'll add 2 momentum back to that pile.
Don't taunt him.
No, I won't, because I've been rolling terribly recently, so it's been a while since I've rolled well.
So this is indeed a control panel.
Yes.
Fortunately,
I knew it.
much of the information is pictographic rather than in writing.
Does that mean that Davok's not old enough to look at it? Oh, sorry.
I'm old enough, thank you. I'm probably older than you.
Davok's probably the oldest one in the party.
Yeah.
Sorry, away team.
He looks very good for his age, doesn't Mr. Davok? I always thought that. Very strong moisturising regime. I hear.
Yeah. Always after the skipping.
So, by analysing the displays, you recognise various wave patterns and such things.
I broke Matt.
He broke the doctor. He's gone.
He's gone. And what you are, but this is indeed an incredibly powerful power source. Oh dear. No, you haven't just broken Matt, you've killed him. That's it.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
Right. Yes, it is an incredibly powerful power source. You don't know what it's powering. However, it has indeed become unstable. It seems pretty obvious from what you're looking at that it is the instability of this power source that is causing the breakup of the planet. Switching it off may be devastating to the planet.
But
however,
it.
You think it might be possible to stabilise it. Your free bit of information, because I know you do get one as well, is...
Oh, was it science, this, or was it engineering?
Oh, it was engineering, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, I don't think I get anything.
Do you know what? I'm feeling generous. I'm going to give it you anyway.
I think it.
You get the sense that stabilising it will not stop the destruction of the planet, but it might buy it a couple of more months.
Ooh. More time is always a good thing.
We're still not going to be able to start shipping people across to other planets, but anything is going to be useful.
I'm sure in a month we can, because it's going to take a few days for other Federation ships to get here.
Yeah, like we can.
And so get a Galaxy class out here. We can ship the whole in a week.
Plus,
how many billion can you fit on a Galaxy class?
Yeah, 2 or 3. It depends how big their pattern buffers are.
This must be the refit of the Galaxy class.
They'd sat on the floor and by the emergency exits like a train.
Just send the 1701A because it's got 50 odd decks. It'll be fine.
Any extra months we do give could be, if we can stabilise it, any extra months could give maybe a more dedicated Federation science team or engineering team chance to have a look at it and maybe stabilise it further. So,
are you suggesting that actually people that know what they're doing should do this rather than us?
What are you saying?
We do lend a certain unique set of solutions to most problems, and they're not always the best ones, but they're usually the quickest.
I'll give it a kick then.
Something I'll give you all this free information because you would all be very aware of this. The Prime Directive would mean non-interference with this planet.
Oh yes, of course.
But then if we don't do anything, he's trying to get them over to the other planet, which is going to affect a whole other planet and a bunch of people on there, right?
Yeah, the other planet has a native population which is definitely not as technologically advanced as the population of this one.
And by doing this, they don't need to know that it was us that's doing it. It could just be like, do they even know that this is here?
So the people topside are trying to evacuate the planet.
Yeah.
Or were we suggested to evacuate the planet and they wanted to stop the machine?
Dr. Sherman was intent on transplanting the population, and he wanted us to help.
Yes. I disagree with that.
In fact, from the sound of it, he was going to do it regardless of what. If we don't help, he's going to do it anyway. But at this rate, our only chance is to maybe try and steer him so he doesn't cause too much damage.
Well, I'm just Dr. Sherman was one of ours or was one of theirs?
Yes, he's one of ours. He's the one who broke the Prime Directive in the first place long before we were on the scene, which I think provides a fair bit of mitigation for what we now do after the fact. So.
Just to interject on that, because it may be a salient point, Dr. Sherman is indeed a Federation citizen, however he is not Starfleet. He's a civilian scientist.
Who is not governed by Starfleet regulations.
But he is subject to Federation law.
Yes, with Prime Directive Federation law or Starfleet regulation?
It's a Starfleet. It's a grey area because it is a Starfleet directive, as in the Prime one, but it's kind of expected that Federation citizens will sort of not break it, see if they're whizzing through space or put in a position of trust where they might encounter lesser developed races in the galaxy. It's more of a sort of you're morally obliged to follow it rather than legally, I think.
Yeah.
Although sometimes you're morally obliged not to follow it.
And I think we are in this case. It's just little like press the buttons and they get a few more months to try and work it out themselves.
Well, the moral obligation to follow the Prime Directive would mean that billions will die.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Prime Directive is a Starfleet regulation, not a civil law. As a result, Federation citizens are legally allowed to engage in activities that would be considered violations of the Prime Directive were they Starfleet.
But do they know that this is here?
Do who know?
The people, the top side, are they aware that there's this power?
Yes, because you were advised that they suspected it was having something to do with the breakup of the planet.
Okay, so they know.
The notes I made said that Sherman, so we promised to assist in maybe switching off the generator to give the planet more time. So whether Dr. Sherman thought that the fact that it was on was breaking the planet to pieces, but have our actual investigations in person to it seem to indicate that it's switching it off would be catastrophically bad.
Would be very bad.
Yeah.
That would be very, very bad for us to do. But we could try and make it a bit better for a bit of time.
I guess.
To jump back briefly to Matt's point there on the scientists not being covered by the Prime Directive, that gives us a huge get out of jail free card, because in that case we've not met uncontacted civilization. We've met civilization that's already experienced first contact with someone who had the freedom to make it, and we're no longer bound by the Prime Directive.
One of the first things that the Captain Thema of the First Guard said was it your Federation? Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Prime Directive, again, just for clarity on this, yes, first contact and exposure is part of it. However, the bulk of it is about influencing the natural development of a planet and its population.
Non-interference.
Yeah,
and it's not like we're developing.
Not selling them phasers or not selling them semi-repaired, partly owned tricorders, Bosh.
Actually, the Prime Directive dictated that no Starfleet personnel knowingly interfere with the natural progression of a pre-warp civilization.
Yes.
Are these pre-warp?
Yes, they are.
Then we are
is this technology pre-warp?
But it's not theirs. It's the progression of the civilization rather than technology.
But it's not the civilization that's breaking down, it's this technology.
Actually, what we found in this particular area if we remember the logs, which we may or may not have noticed, Reggie, just go and have a look at the wall for a minute. Strange and weird technologies placed on planets in this area are placed by other people. What was it that Admiral said? The Tilical.
The Steves.
So there were so there's some sort of like horrible advanced but ancient civilization that's been around this area. I wonder if this is another example of one of their pieces of technology. Again, they leave it lying around, but then the legal question is it the property of the people who then inhabit the planet long after who dropped it there are gone?
I'm just circling back to the population are trying to stay or leave. Are they only deciding to leave because of the influence of the Doctor?
He seems to think that he's intent on transplanting them, as in the planet's falling to bits. We need to get them out of here. Either stabilize the planet and use your ship. You've got a ship, fantastic. Bring some more. Let's get them off to the other planet as quick as we can to save everybody.
But that transplant could be seen as messing with their development, because any time they spend on the ship could alter what they look at, how they look at it, how they view, all that sort of stuff. Yeah,
and it's also going to massively affect the development of that other planet's species as well if we suddenly transplant an entire different planet species onto and basically say, you two have got to live together. I mean, that's never worked well in history ever.
Are we going to pack them with or without cholera blankets?
Again, just because you would know this because of precedent, preventing the deaths of this civilization would be considered interference.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring. So if we turn the machine off, we give them time to leave.
Cause awful damage. I can try and fiddle with it to see if I can get it to stabilize.
We don't want to turn it off.
No, but I can try and fiddle with it.
Turning it off will probably bring the destruction of the planet closer.
I think the only thing we can morally do is that's a good choice would be to give the planet more time. I mean, if that means that we can convince Dr. Sherman that his plan of transplanting everyone is still not viable, but like we say, if we can bring in other experts to try it, or if he's got more time to work on another solution to actually stabilize the planet, we stabilize it, then maybe we can cure it. If we switch it off, it all goes badly wrong to a bag of shoes, but quite quickly.
Yeah, I think that is the best answer because we don't have to have done that. Like, they're not going to see what we're doing down here. It could just naturally have calmed down a little bit.
One thing I just had tickle the back of my mind was before Kaitis could feel that there was a sense of hunger just before we were attacked.
Yes, he could read the spiders empathically.
Yeah, are they getting anything from the energy source here? Is that linked with the arachnoids? And is there any link there? Are you getting anything from this? Is it just purely a source of energy, or is there something other at work, or any sort of like echoes around?
Can only pick up the emotional state of your colleagues.
So drawing a blank.
Worth an ask. This is just power.
Well, I guess it falls to Commander Wraal here to make the calls to what we're...
Big calls, well, doesn't it always?
Yeah.
It's a difficult decision.
Yeah, as away team leader here, I think our objective is to stabilize, if we can, this. But also, I want to get some tricorder readings of all the control surfaces and the control panels if we can. I want that cross-referenced with what we may or may not have already found out in this area and see if we can start building some sort of database. If we found one, and then we found two, if we can link, if there's anything that links the pictograms and the glyphs between the two albeit separate control panels, maybe that might help us read a third one in the future or somewhere else.
That's why you're the captain. Sorry, Commander.
Yeah.
So, Davok, you can make some suitable recordings and scans.
Yeah.
Of that. Can you cross-reference it with? Do we have anything in the do we have anything in the tricorders linked to, or any reference in the tricorders to what we've already found in the Atlantis logs?
No, the Atlantis logs are not in the tricorders.
No. Okay.
But so I can have a go at this thing. See what I can do.
You
in that
can
case,
have a
if
go.
there's anything that now, if this might be a time for me for Wraal to try and assist, because as an advisor, I can assist with my command skill on my command discipline of 4.
Hold that thought, because before we get into looking into how difficult stabilizing this alien machinery is that you don't understand the writing of, Davok, it is easy enough to basically use your tricorder to take an imaging scan of the control panels. That's not a problem at all. And we'll work out the rest after this break. Don't go anywhere. That's an order. We'll be right back.
hailing frequencies are open.
And we are back, ready to fiddle about with an alien power source that we don't really understand. What can possibly go wrong? Before we do, I had to love in the first part there the Vulcan logic of it's only a crime if you get caught.
Oh yeah, this could not be caused by Starfleet because it's just weird alien technology, right?
Yeah. So that's fine. It's not a crime because
Exactly,
nobody
no
will
one
know.
knows. No,
Yes,
apart from
Vulcan
obviously
morality
Wraal.
at its finest.
Yeah.
I believe it was Surak himself who said it's easier to seek forgiveness than ask permission.
Wasn't it? Sorry, it was like when you absolutely positively have to kill every last month. No, that was something else.
That was Kalos the Unforgettable.
And hello to our newer viewers, Luna and Ben. Good to see you. So yeah, we've you finally made it to this power source. You haven't been attacked by any more spiders, which is good.
I was expecting more of those, to be honest.
But you've had a bit of a... Well, maybe it isn't a surprise. I was about to say it's a surprise with this power source being similar to one you've already vicariously seen. Any thoughts on that?
Terrified, because
it smells of gateways, doesn't it?
The thoughts I have are not Bosh's thoughts, which is the concern.
Right. Okay. What's Matt's thoughts then?
Matt is terrified that one of those weird metallic spider things is going to come out of the light that we couldn't do anything about the last lot couldn't do anything about, and we're going to get murdered with ease. My thoughts, obviously Bosh has none of those thoughts. He's sort of considering whether or not the equipment is worth salvaging and whether it's worth anything, given that it's pre-Federation tech.
Well, you'd have to dismantle it in order to salvage it, and that would mean switching it off, which...
No, you just need to take some pieces to then sell it to somebody else with the coordinates for them to dismantle it. It can be made, so that's a lot less risky for a lot more profit. And as the rules of acquisition say, I can't remember the number, but it's along the lines of you can't make profit if you're dead.
That's very true. That's very true. Yeah.
And
so
also,
he's just gonna...
regardless of what we pick up and sell, it can be anything you like. It's advanced tech. People know it's advanced tech. It can be anything because rule number 239, never be afraid to mislabel a product.
Excellent. Excellent. Right. Well, hoping it's not mislabeled and it doesn't go horribly, horribly wrong. Shall we get back into this?
Let's do it.
Definitely.
So, I can tell you that this is going to be an extended task.
Ooh.
Now, you've done one extended task previously when you were on board the Atlantis, in fact. So, just to remind you how an extended task works. You have a number of points in what's called the work track. And ideally, you want to get those points to 0. So the way you do that is very, very similar to combat. You have a difficulty that you need to roll against. If you succeed that difficulty, you get to roll a number of basically damage dice, and that number comes off your total. Now, sometimes with extended tasks, there are resistances, so that total will get reduced. But if you score 5 points, you get what's called a breakthrough, which reduces what's called the magnitude. Reducing the magnitude also reduces the difficulty. So the further you work on it, the easier it gets, theoretically. Now, with your examination of the equipment so far, Davok, I can tell you that once you start working on this machine, you get the impression that you only have a limited amount of time to start, to actually effect the repairs before the machine shuts down completely.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not all extended tasks are timed, however this one is.
Okay.
Okay, are we ready to begin?
Yeah.
Well, before we do, is it worth Wraal trying to contact the ship just to let them give the Captain Wagner a status update on where we're up to?
You certainly can. Let's have... what was it we did? Oh, yes. Control and engineering, difficulty 4.
Difficulty 4. Oh, good.
You're
You might
you're
roll
much
2
deeper
stuff.
underground.
Yeah.
And you've got momentum you can use.
I saved the
You have
momentum.
5 momentum.
I need that.
I've got nothing that can really fire off a focus. I've not any focuses that will help this.
You never know. Get double one.
You know what
Okay,
you need to do.
I'll try it anyway.
Bear in mind, as an option, you can order somebody else to try and contact the ship if you think that their engineering skill might be higher.
That's true. Well, my engineering is 2. Who's got better engineering than that?
Not me.
No. Where's our young Bajoran?
You have somebody else with you whose sheet I forgot to open up. Here we go. Tana Sul, the Bajoran.
Yes.
Who indeed has an engineering of 4, I can tell you. And with control, that would be a total of 15.
Oh, okay. She's far more likely to than that. And okay. In that case, yes. Maybe if I can converse with her and see if we can get a signal up to Livingstone from here. Has she got any focuses?
She has a focus. No relevant focuses, unfortunately.
No. Okay, that doesn't help so much. Okay, let's just roll again and see if we get anything at all.
Okay, now I'll tell you what, sir. I'm doing my best. Chris doing a Cornish accent. I'll tell you what, sir. I'll try and open hailing frequencies for you, but you can do the talking if you like.
Hey, roll credits.
Right. So, who's going to make the roll for Tana? It's not going to be me.
I was going to say, if you're autopiloting, I thought it was you, but...
Nah, I'm the GM. I think one of you should roll it.
I suggest Alastair.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, I have some dice here. Let's see. A 10 and a 13.
That is 2 successes out of the 4. That is not a success.
Okay, well, if you notice, we have attempted to, but that's all we can do. So I'm afraid that we'll just have to eat static for a little while.
And on board Livingstone, Captain, there is a weird static noise comes from the comm system, and that's it.
Can you try and clean that up, please, Con?
Con tells you there really isn't anything to clean up. It's a bit of static noise that just came out of the system.
And with a worried raised
frequency.
With a worried raised eyebrow, we can cut back to the team on the planet.
As quantum torpedoes fly towards the planet's surface.
Oh no!
Yes, that must be the signal they failed and it's all gone wrong. Yes.
It wouldn't be the first time the Livingstone bombed a planet to smithereens.
Not going to be
Okay,
the
yeah,
last.
so... Yeah. No contact with the surface.
All right.
Okay, try to carry on, Mr. Davok.
Okay. I start hitting buttons wildly.
Well, again, you may not wish it to be yourself because this is going to be a daring and engineering role.
Ooh.
What is Tana? Is it Tana?
Tana's total is 12. A daring
I
is not so high.
beat Tana.
I tell you what,
13.
Reggie's daring and engineering will be 13.
Yeah, I've got 13. I've got my focus in computers. My engineering's 4.
With a focus in
Don't you be trying to be
computers.
too dangerous, Mr. Davok. Don't be putting yourself in too much danger there. I could do it, sir.
I think I'll be fine. You can take over Reggie if I was to fall.
You just tell me what to press, but you step back a sec, Mr. Davok. You tell me what to press, I'll press it.
We do it as a joint effort.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah,
With Reggie's aid.
So, if Reggie,
You chopped it.
just to be clear, if Reggie is the one operating it, then your focus in computers will not apply.
Yeah. So can I do it with Reggie aiding?
How would Reggie like to aid?
Actually, well, Reggie would be mainly still behind just being Mr. Davok's biggest cheerleader.
Emotional
You can do
support.
this, Mr. Davok. You're great at this. Oh, I believe in you. Don't press that one.
Emotional support. Do you know what? I might allow that for anyone else, but not a Vulcan.
Of all the people we need most emotional support.
However, you did make a suggestion just before the break about something Eelin might be able to do.
Oh, well, Eelin can assist with his
Can we
command.
get a coffee?
Well, that was that. He's predominantly coffee powered, unusually for me. But yeah, actually, Eelin can use advisor and assist with command, which is a command skill of 4.
I'm not using.
And command would be instead of engineering, wouldn't it? That's
So I think
yeah. So if it's engineering instead, so if it's 4 instead of Davok's
4.
engineering,
Which
which is
also
4. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not going to make any
But it does
odds.
Yeah.
allow one. If I do say, it does allow 1 reroll. So it like
Okay.
throws an extra
There you
dice
go.
in that you can reroll.
That's got to be it
Reggie
then.
Yeah, and Reggie can help with engineering things. He knows his way around a computer.
He does, but this is a one-person job, unfortunately.
Okay, fine. I'll do it.
Okay, with Eelin Wraal giving commanding words. So, let's start this off. Difficulty 4, daring and engineering. Do you want to spend any momentum?
Yes. Yeah. I'll spend a momentum and I'll give you a threat.
Yeah, good
Spend a
thinking.
momentum
Yeah.
and give me a threat. Okay.
So I roll 4 dice. Oh, good. I got 4 successes. One of them was a 4, which caught my focus in computers. I did get 1 fail. So that's 4 total.
Okay, so 4 successes, 5 successes then.
No, 4 successes. But I
4
failed 1,
successes.
but I got 2 on 1.
Right, okay, 4 successes. So, your engineering, you say, is 4. So, roll me 6 dice. Starfleet symbols count as 1. Because
Okay.
there's no special.
6 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4.
A total of
No.
4.
Now, can we use momentum, like in combat? Can we use momentum to add successes to that and make it a 5 for a breakthrough?
You can use a momentum with an extended task to... Oh, you can use it to re-roll damage dice.
Ah,
Can I choose which dice to re-roll? Or
Yes, you
do I
can.
have to
Yes, you
re-roll?
can.
Okay. So I can
Yeah, you
re-roll
can
my
choose
3
which ones.
blank.
Yes,
yeah.
one.
Let's use that momentum
Yeah.
to push it to a breakthrough.
Okay, so I've now used 2 momentum. Re-rolling 3 dice. Ooh, ha! 1, 2, 3, 4.
So a total of 8, which I'm going to use a threat to reduce down to 7. So, yep, that does indeed give you a breakthrough. So your magnitude is now 2. Your difficulty is now 3. As the whole cavern starts to shake and dust falls from the roof, you are now on a timed mission.
Right. Do the next bit quick,
Play
then.
dramatic music. Give me an engineering roll. Difficulty 3. Would you like to spend any momentum?
I will spend a momentum. Shall I do a threat as well this time? To the 4 dice?
Yes, give him. Yeah, he won't want to. Yeah, so that's
Yeah, I'll do it again.
those
Spend a
dice.
threat to roll 4 dice. Come on.
Dun, 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 dun.
Very good.
Reggie
one
tries to
success,
fashion some sort of rock
119.
umbrella over Mr. Davok.
Another 4 successes. I got a 3, which is under my engineering score, so it's my focus. A 9,
Okay.
an 11, 19.
And just because, my bad, I forgot to mention this last time, but then you forgot it as well. You can re-roll that 19 with Eelin's help.
Oh, that's true.
Well, it's
However,
okay. So, do we need to move?
if it's a 90, it's not. That, no,
It
if
doesn't
we've
do
got,
anything, does it?
it's a difficulty 2 now. And
3.
we've
But I've
Three.
got 4. So
Difficulty
we get a
3.
momentum back.
Get the momentum
so
back.
you
Yeah,
get
that's
your
fine.
momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not
Okay.
tickle the dragon's tail too
I'm
much.
not,
It's
I'm
fine.
not gonna
19's fine.
risk it. So yes,
Right.
so just 4.
Roll me your 6 dice.
Rolling 6 dice. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
A total of 8 again. Are you sticking with that? Do you wish to?
Yeah, I rolled 4 2s and 2 blanks.
Okay.
I don't think it's worth rolling.
And I spend another threat to reduce that down to 7 again.
Eelin just mentions it down to just like we saw in the Atlantis logs. I'm sure some of this is it's not the same, but it's very similar.
I think I'm in the wrong department.
You are down to magnitude 1.
The typing pool.
2. You think you're about halfway through this work.
Okay.
However, the tremors are increasing.
Oh no.
But you're
Keep
down to
pushing.
difficulty 2. Daring
Yeah.
and engineering, difficulty 2. Are you spending a
Okay.
momentum?
Yes.
Are
Spend
you
threat again?
buying another with a threat?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah. Just keep
Yeah.
farming
doing
the momentum back.
Cool. So 4 dice again. Ooh, a 19 again and a 9.
Oh,
1 success. 8 is another success and 18. So that's 2 successes.
2 successes is what you need.
Let's
Again, you have
hold
the
that with no
option to
rerolls.
re-roll 1.
I think
Okay.
Save it to the dice. Yeah, for the damage. I think so.
Give me your 6 dice.
Just
2. Should I spend a momentum and re-roll?
yes.
yes.
I re-roll 4 blank dice. A bit better, and I get 5. So 7 in total.
7 in total. And I'm going to be really mean on this turn. I'm going to spend 3 threats to reduce that to 4. So you do not get a
How much
breakthrough
threat
that
do you
time.
have now?
I have a question. Yes. Well, how much threat is a good question to start with?
How many threats do I have? I have 2 threat.
Okay.
You have 1 momentum.
Right.
What? Sorry, could you just give me the definition of the daring trait, please?
Daring is something you're doing under pressure, where you're. It might be caused by a variety of things like a cavern shaking and rocks potentially about to fall on your head, or having to work to a really tight deadline. Whereas control is when you can take your time, when you can focus. Daring, the way I think about it, daring, you've got lots of distractions.
So, if I was to, or Bosh was to give Davok
A sedative.
well, I was thinking, I was actually trying to think of some sort of like ADHD medication. You know, that kind of like a focus, and maybe like basically, I was trying to work out if there's anything that I could do to say give Davok a +1 to daring by giving her some sort of like heart rate control,
Okay.
or do you know what I mean?
I do get exactly what you're saying. However, as is with the nature of these things, where you push down on the seesaw in one place, it goes up in the other. And anything that... I mean, because you are kind of talking sedatives in a sense, in my head there.
Yeah.
That is going to impair neurological function.
Yeah.
So yes, you would increase daring by 1, but you would decrease engineering by 1.
Okay. How do you chill out a Vulcan any more than they already are?
Yeah. No, fair.
So then,
It's really good thinking, and I don't want to stamp on it, but yeah, that's...
I don't want to stamp
Do you
on
know
it, but
what?
I will grind it down with my heel into dust.
Do you know what? I'm gonna allow you to attempt it, but it's going to be a difficulty 4 for the exact reasons I've given. You can give me a daring and medicine roll.
yeah, both is little failed, I'm sure.
But, well, okay, I'll try it. But, well, no, if I try it and fail, is that going to screw up Davok?
If you get a complication,
Hmm.
it's always a possibility.
The thing is, with a difficulty 4, I would need momentum to even get close.
You've
And
got a
we need
momentum.
We do, but I would say that we actually need that momentum in our rather than a Hail Mary that might help us a little bit.
Yeah.
Keep our momentum for that. And I could roll 2 on the off chance that I get 2 Starfleet symbols. I mean, I did print these dice, but I didn't weight them. But there is a possibility of rolling a 20 and like just
Monging Davok out to the point at which he just sits down and starts to play a Vulcan lute for a while.
yeah.
Almost like she'd been given something funny to smoke at a campsite.
Bosh is going to consider it, but basically he's just going to take too long. I'm going to consider it all the way through Amy doing or Davok doing what is being done. It may end up, depending on I think if we don't mind, a dice roll in a bit to see whether or not Bosh stabs Davok with a sedative just as she finishes or he finishes. We'll see, but
You can hold it as an option to throw in at any time. Absolutely. Davok, then you asked me how well you were doing. You're making progress. You're not quite 2/3 of the way through.
Right. Gotta keep pushing.
So daring and engineering, difficulty 2 again.
Got 1 momentum, so
You want 1 momentum spend.
shall I use it?
I think difficulty 2 now, isn't it? And are your focuses triggering off?
Yes, if I roll
Doubles.
well enough. I think if we use it, it's the best chance of getting over, and then
Getting in the momentum.
more,
I think
yeah.
I think spend it to get yeah.
we'll spend the last momentum. So I roll 3
Do you want
dice.
to give me more threat?
Yes, give you a threat.
You're supposed to say before you roll, but yeah.
I know.
Okay.
I rolled 2 19s and 2 successes.
And 2 successes. With 2 successes, you succeed.
Yay.
There
Roll
must
your
be
six
big lumps
dice.
of cavern dropping very close to Davok here for this 2019. Richie is very concerned.
5 points damage.
How many, sorry?
5 points of damage.
5 points of damage. I'm afraid 4 points of damage.
Yeah, knew it. Still making
But you're making progress.
though.
You are still
It
making
looks like it's
progress.
doing it.
And it is
No more
still
momentum,
difficulty
though.
2. You have no momentum left indeed. Give me that daring and engineering.
One success.
Do you want to re-roll the other one with Wraal's assistance?
Yes, let's do that. So what does your assistance do? Just let me re-roll it.
Yes.
Yeah, as I'm lending help, yeah.
Which works. Another success. So 2.
No, not that one. That one.
Successes.
Cool.
Give me your 6 dice.
6 dice. 5 again.
5 again. 4 again.
Yeah.
Hang on, does this
Still
mean that the
making
GM's actually got
progress.
no threat at this point?
No, I think he's got 2.
I have 1 threat
Oh,
left.
you've got 1 left.
Wow.
Okay. Right, so as long as I roll well, so okay, maybe the last one. I've only got 2 dice and a reroll. I've only got 1 success. So can we do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Try that one, Davok.
All right. On the Starfleet symbol, so that's
I got
3.
Got
And a
momentum.
momentum.
A momentum.
Oh,
And in
what's
just the same way that I'm using threat to reduce, you can use a momentum to increase by 1 as well.
it? Okay. Well,
so
Stu's
you
only
know.
got one threat now, so we need to roll at least a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Or use a momentum to re-roll anything that came up with a blank.
That's 2 dice. I got they will still be ones. All right, you want to do that?
Actually, no. Keep that momentum, and we'll add that as a dice for next time.
Yeah. So we'll do 4 damage.
You do 3 damage. Well, 3 on the work track. You
She's not there.
believe you are extremely close to completing.
Okay.
You think you're about to complete. However, the cavern is shaking to the point you don't even know if the roof is going to stay up long enough.
I mean, I'm here now, so I'm focused on task. Do we want to
Give me
stay
your-
or do we want to go?
Daring and engineering.
Yeah.
Once it
Just do it.
stabilizes, the cavern will stop shaking.
Just do it. Oh yeah. 3 successes on 2 dice with the Starfleet symbol and a 9.
Boom.
Yes. So you
So
get
that's
a momentum.
So we've got 2 momentum. So roll these dice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Should I use
You can
the momentum
you
to
can
roll?
stop counting as you
Yeah.
complete it, and the
Yes.
shaking stops.
Ah,
Well done.
Suspected. Well done, Davok.
Yes.
There we go. You've stabilized the machine.
Do I
Woo!
understand the machine
Extended
better now?
tasks.
Oh,
Did that feel tense?
Yes.
It's supposed
Yeah.
to feel tense.
It's a battle with a. It's
My
a battle
hands
with
are clammy.
a non-moving enemy. Isn't it?
Yeah,
Mm. Excellent.
I enjoyed
Right.
that. Oh, I did it! We did it, guys. We saved the planet. Was it the right thing to do?
Well, I think is it worth you taking some sort of readings from it now and just confirming that it is stabilized and seeing if we can figure out where this power is going to. You mentioned it was, is it conduits going out?
There are conduits heading out in pretty much all directions.
Right, can we
About
still
15 feet up.
can Davok assess if the power flow is going to? Is it just generating power? Is it actually flowing to something? Something's drawing it away and using it.
So just scan it with your tricorder. There's no need for a roll for this. The power is simply heading out in all directions. Just where it goes, you've no idea. The tricorder's range is far too limited for that. But it is definitely pumping power out somewhere.
Now, is its power more than when we entered the cavern, or have we stabilized it and increased its output, or have we stabilized it by cutting it down?
No, you haven't increased its output. The output is now constant where it was fluctuating.
Yes. Okay.
Sometimes not just dropping, but actually sometimes the power would go in bursts as well. So might have been overloading things. Whatever it might be.
Some sort of array, is it?
No. Oh, you like the caretakers? No.
Yeah.
Not like that. That was deliberately bursting power. This was more random, or seemingly random.
I was wondering if we're wondering the same wonder.
Go ahead with your wonder first, and I'll see if I wondered similar.
Should we wander along the cables and find out where they go to, and see what it's powering?
That's a good idea. If we're able to do that, that might be a good idea to do.
They're effectively heading straight into solid rock.
Oh, right, okay. There you go, into the wall. Are there any other exits from this cavern? Is it basically just a cavern just with this in it?
Just the one that you came in on.
Okay. My suggestion then would maybe to head back, essentially with our objective here completed. We've taken as many readings and scans of the power source as we can. Head back to the surface and report what we've done. Firstly to the Livingstone, and then to the Lamians themselves on the surface, and Dr. Sherman, and see what his reaction is to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
This has, of course, remember, team, this has slightly diverted us from our main objective, which was to recover the crashed ship in the first place and tidy stuff up.
Oh yeah.
But I'm sure the captain will be fine with that. we did sort of tell him that we were going to go and do this. This did seem to be an urgent need that queue jumped our list of tasks.
Okay, you start heading your way back through the winding cavern, the winding tunnel that you came in on. You have to obviously switch your wrist torches back on. But yeah, you get, after about half an hour, you get to the area. It looks very much like the area that you were ambushed by the spiders. Recognizing this spot, we'll try and contact the Livingstone again, because we know that from around here we've got at least some sort of signal through. But as you approach into this area, and just as you're thinking this, you do start to hear skittering noises.
Oh.
But that skittering goes away.
Any feeling anything, Kitus?
Kitus, you did indeed get that sense of hunger again, but this time tinged with fear.
I will relate that to Wraal.
Oh.
You're not feeling like we're in urgent danger of being food.
No, I think it might be in our interest to exit the caverns as swiftly as possible.
Okay, we'll press on then. But in this case, rather than stop it, we'll carry on, and Wraal will just try and contact Livingstone as we're moving along.
As you're moving, okay. Unless you want Tana Soul to do it, it is a control and engineering difficulty 2.
No, we'll try it himself. That's 12 we need for that.
You have 2 momentum.
Sorry, I've got an 11 and a 6.
Excellent. Yeah. Captain, hailing frequencies are open.
Good to hear your voice again, Commander. What's your situation?
The power source was located underneath the planet, Captain. Mr. Davok and myself seem to have stabilized it. It's still emitting power to various parts, we presume, of either the nearby area or maybe the planet itself. But the power readings we're getting out are at least constant and stable. We're just proceeding back out of the cavern system we're in, back to the surface. We're going to report our findings to both Dr. Sherman and the Lamian natives here. And then we'll hopefully be able to continue on task to recover the remains, or what we can, of the ship that's caused all the trouble in the first place.
Good work. Can you see to it that Dr. Sherman and his colleagues are taken to the area where the transport pattern buffers might be established to beam back up to the ship, please?
Yes, we'll endeavour to instill upon them that they're not here as this is not a holiday camp, and they're not here as guests.
Yes, I think it would be good to get them back on board Livingstone as soon as possible.
If anything else, I'll be perhaps extending your invitation to dine with them.
Yes, if it's possible to learn any more about where this power that's being created is being used on the planet, that would seem like our best path forward to possibly providing a more long-term solution for the inhabitants of this world.
Okay, am I able to upload any information on the power sources we got from our tricorders to Livingstone, and say maybe the sensors on Livingstone can use that to sweep the planet for similar power signatures?
The connection is probably too weak to be uploading data from the tricorders. However, because you have got a communication signal through, the Livingstone can focus on your area, like where you are, and do a sensor sweep from there.
Excellent. I'll request that. If you could sweep the area for anything that's or where this power source may be extending out to.
Right. Who has Grace Wilson's stats?
She's part of the science division.
She is.
I do have Grace somewhere. Not where I would think though.
Did you check below the flames?
Flames?
Yeah, if you found it, that would make it Grace under fire.
No, God.
Oh.
The amount of bump forms she comes home with from school, she'd be spending more time in Dr. Bosh's medical bay.
I'm happy to take her on, which is the transfer.
I'll put that to her on school.
Let me see if I've got her stats. I might have. So, where am I looking? Star Trek Adventures file. Bear with us, viewers, while we just find our character sheets.
Oh, I found it.
We weren't. Oh, you've got her. Excellent.
Hang on.
So, it's going to be reason and science, assisted by the ship's sensors and science. Difficulty 4.
Well, her reason and science combined is 14.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 2 for starters there.
The reason she's a second.
And I think Commander Davok will be rolling on her behalf, being as in the same department.
Makes sense.
We'll
be rolling for the ship.
I'm happy to roll for the ship now.
I think Captain should roll for the ship.
Okay, and are you using either of your momentum?
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So let's add one in.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Difficulty 4 you're trying to beat.
Lovely.
My mind's blanking. Is it 1 or 2 dice for the ship?
It's one dice for the ship.
It's just one, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
thought that was.
Against sensors and science.
Ship gets a 14.
Does Grace have any focuses?
Federation computer systems, homework.
No.
Alien culture, mainly cuisine.
Oh,
And space and wibbly wobbly things in space, spatial anomalies.
No. The ship is of no help to you, I'm afraid.
well, Grace did get 3, including a 2. So she changed her focus.
3 successes. But yeah, no help, no additional help from the 2, I'm afraid. With 3 successes, do you know what I'm going to say? You succeed at cost. And the cost is giving me a threat. Because I can't think of an instant other than the ship
The
breaks.
ship blows up.
We've had one of those.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, so yes, it's really hard to trace where these these power lines are going to. However, what you are able to discern is that it spreads throughout a network across the entire crust of the planet, forming a rudimentary containment and power distribution system. You think that it's these disruptions, this fluctuations in the power that have basically shaken the mantle of the planet so much that it's created fissures that it's now onto a cascade. You know, there's no stopping it now, but that's what it seems to be, is basically a massive power distribution system, but also reinforcing the planet, holding it together.
Can we tell what it's distributing power to or for?
Not what it's distributing power for, because it doesn't seem to be powering anything now.
Okay.
But 2 is everywhere across the planet.
Interesting.
So in stabilizing the power system, we might have actually done a lot more good for the planet than bad, if it's like reinforcing the planet's structure.
Indeed, that is what is holding the planet together for this extra time.
Yeah, that was nice of us. We didn't have to.
Right. Okay. That being the case, we'll thank the Livingstone for their assistance there, and we'll continue on task to return to the surface and report our findings, and see if we can persuade Dr. Sherman to let us carry on with our main task, and maybe join us back on the Livingstone to take stock of where we are.
Okay, well, it's going to take a couple of 3 hours, you reckon, to get back to the surface. And incidentally, the humidity and heat levels have dropped significantly since you managed to stabilise this machine.
It's much better now.
It's certainly not cold, but it's not uncomfortable. Those that were
Ferengi
uncomfortable.
cold?
Not Ferengi cold, no. Warm for a Ferengi.
How cold
It's
do you
balmy.
like it?
Very pleasant. But yeah, is there anything you want to do on that journey back?
Mm.
I mean, any do we take any geological scans when we're going down? I think we just figured out that it was that we were going underground, and it was and the planet was shaking. So I take it we can. How are the tunnels as we're going back? Because before we said it felt like being near deck plates on a warp capable ship. Is it sort of more smoother? Is it trembling still, or not even noticeable?
There are no tremors at all now. And indeed, as you were heading in, occasionally you would get like massive tremors that would pass. You don't get any of those as you head up towards the surface. And of course, by the time you get back to the surface, because a few hours have passed, the cost of this power distribution has tripled. Little joke for our UK viewers there, maybe not, I don't know. I thought it was funny. But although occasionally you'll hear bits of skittering, again, Kitus, you just get this sense of fear. You'll hear the skittering, get a sense of fear, then the skittering will go away again. And yes, you make it back to the brightness of the surface.
Right. Now, where was it? Hang on. Check's notes. Where did we come from? It was the city. That was the.
I mean, you're still in the city. This entrance is located in the city. It's a short walk away from the building where you met Dr. Sherman, where Captain Thema took you.
Yeah, we'll head back there as planned.
Okay, you start heading in that direction. Again, you see numerous members of this population who don't give you a second glance. They all look, certainly to your eyes, absolutely identical to Captain Thema. Whether it's strange that they don't bother looking at these alien species, even though they're a pre-warp civilization. And from their perspective, you're about as alien as it gets. Yeah.
Not having a carapace.
Should we try a quick medical scan just to see how exactly the same is? Have we done that yet?
Yeah. They're a branch. They are lemurs. No, the other ones are lemurs.
That was the spiders.
Yeah.
So, Kitus, you want to scan one of the inhabitants?
A quick surreptitious scan in passing.
A surreptitious scan is going to be quite difficult, but I'm going to say give me a daring and medicine roll, difficulty 2.
Okay, I need 14 on that, so it is possible. But sadly, that's a 16, so not quite. One success.
Okay. You're just registering that they're members of the same species, which is what you would expect, really.
Yeah, no further forward there.
I wonder if now, obviously, we've noticed as we're moving through this population that they're literally ignoring the fact that there are some aliens walking around past us. Could this mean that although we were confronted, I'd say, is probably the wrong phrase, by Captain Thema, who said, "Oh, your Federation," is Sherman and his gang not the first aliens to have landed here? Maybe although they're not warp capable, it doesn't mean they haven't been visited by other alien species before, and they're just quite at home with the idea that they're not alone in the galaxy. It's just they have no means of wandering around it yet.
It's like a question we should put to the Captain Thema when we get back. Yeah.
So if so, it might not be that Dr. Sherman is the instigator of from our point of view, first Prime Directive breach. That might have happened hundreds, thousands of years previously. Yeah, worth it questioning him on that, and maybe finding out a bit more about their civilization as a result, especially as we found some sort of technology under the planet, which is highly likely to be linked to a galaxy or certainly region-spanning ancient race.
Yeah.
According to possible logs, which we may or may not have read. Anyway, we carry on.
So you make it eventually to the base of this very tall cylindrical structure. You go towards the door when a voice calls out from behind you, one of these creatures. Federation, were you successful?
Successful in what? Are you? Where are you?
They're behind you.
Oh,
They're behind you.
Wraal, so turn around to face our conversationalists. Actually, is it one, two, a horde?
One. It's one person.
One. Now, I want to say, Captain Thema.
Yes, of course.
We were successful. Thank you for
The
asking.
tremors have stopped.
And thank you for your advice on the foes beneath the surface. It was invaluable to us.
You encountered the beasts.
Encountered and overcame.
You just nod solemnly.
Captain, maybe ask you a question. Your fellow Lamians here, they don't seem to worry the fact that we are not of their world. Have you had visitors from elsewhere before our friend Dr. Sherman arrived?
I do not understand the first part of your question. We know you are Federation. But no, Dr. Sherman was the first of your kind to arrive.
The first of our kind. Have there been others of other kinds, other forms, other shapes?
No, Dr. Sherman was the first alien to arrive.
Interesting you say alien. Very good. That's of great interest, Captain. Thank you. Yes. Where is Dr. Sherman at the moment? Is he still in the building?
He is still in the laboratory where you met him previously.
Very good. Actually, at this point, I'll almost sort of I open up the floor, as it were, see if anyone else wishes to talk to the captain about anything they might want to question him about.
Have we asked him already if he knows who built the technology that's under the surface? Did we pop that question to him? I can't remember. I will do it now.
Ask away, Lieutenant, please.
We do not know. It was here before living memory.
Wraal notes ancient aliens on pad.
And you've always resided on this. Have you always resided on this world? Yes.
Yes, we evolved here. We assume it was some kind of progenitor. However, no sign is left of them other than the machine.
Davok or Bosh, any questions?
No.
Do you mind if we're fascinated by your species? Obviously, we've never come across a race quite like you before. Do you mind if I took some readings? You seem like a pretty good fit specimen.
How invasive are these
Not at all.
readings?
Not
you
invasive
may proceed.
At all. Okay,
I thought it was just an exclamation for a minute. How invasive. Sorry, carry on.
I want to do the scan that the lieutenant had tried subtly and failed.
Okay. Yes,
as much detail to try and gauge the closeness and, just something is a little hinky, don't know what, want to see if readings of a native species bring up anything.
Give me a reason and science roll, difficulty 2.
Ooh. A reason and science. Don't think I've got any focuses that help. But I got a 2 and a 3, both of which are below my science.
Oh, that's a success. So yes, you do a full bioscan, so you have the full biological data in your tricorder. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Is there any sign of sped up? Like, I'm just trying.
Accelerated genetic growth, perhaps?
Yeah, those words.
No sign whatsoever.
Okay.
You do detect low-level telepathic abilities.
Oh.
I'm
going to be thinking, can you hear what I'm thinking?
Captain Thema just looks at you.
King mandibles.
Have
is
you
Kaiser's
finished
getting
your
any
readings?
Yes.
Is Kaiser's getting any readings off any emotions off any of them?
Yes, Kaitis, you get curiosity from the captain. Gratitude.
And honesty in the conversation so far.
You detect no deception.
Yes, all finished. Would you like to see?
I cannot read your language.
Maybe next time.
Have to be careful what we leave behind, Doctor. No further contamination other than what's already happened.
May I ask what you were scanning for?
Oh, just to fill the database. It's always useful if I've got a scan and let's say something happens and we need to treat one of your kind when you next visit us, or we visit you, for example, at least we'll have some idea of how to treat you. I'm a doctor, God damn it.
Would it be helpful to scan another of my kind for a comparative reading?
Oh, very much so.
Another of these citizens just walks up and stands next to Thema and waits patiently.
Do I have your consent?
Yes, of course.
I will scan this one too.
Give me a reason and science roll, difficulty 2. No? What did you get?
Double 20.
How many 20s?
Just the one.
Oh!
120.
20 and a 15.
To be fair, Davok's been smashing it out the park all evening. It's bound to be a cock-up somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a threat for the 20. So that turns it, other than me having another threat, just turns it into a regular failure. But the tricorder throws up an error message, duplicate reading.
Mm-hmm.
Can Kaitis, seeing the error, try a scan over Bosh's shoulder?
You can give me a reason and science roll. This is going to be difficulty 3 because yours is not a medical tricorder.
Why do you want to scan my shoulder?
Over your shoulder, Doctor. So do we want to spend a momentum? This is not particularly likely that I will get this naturally.
Yeah.
I'd say, throw one in.
Okay, so let's see. So it was, reason and science, Stu.
Reason and science for yourself, yes.
Yeah. That is a 15, which is not a success. A Starfleet symbol, which counts as 2 successes.
2.
And I have the extra dice from the momentum as well, right?
Yeah.
It's an 18. So 2 successes overall.
Your tricorder throws up an error message, duplicate reading.
And these creatures are too alike for our tricorders.
Clones.
I say I've seen one Starfleet tricorder malfunction before, but to see 2 malfunction in the same way, performing the same task, perhaps there is more to this than meets our first observations.
Shall we? Doctor, are your scans complete? You're happy with your data you've recovered from these good citizens? Bring old Batman.
Rumbling at his tricorder, but yes, no, done.
Very good. Thank you, Captain, and thank your fellow citizen for assisting us in there. If it's okay, we carry on to see Dr. Sherman now. Would you like to come with us? Are you otherwise busy?
Do you wish me to accompany you?
Looks around at the rest of the away team. You want him to come on?
We should be okay. You can collect your thing or whatever you have to be doing.
There's no need for you to accompany us, Captain, unless you feel you wish to. We're just going to relay to the Doctor our findings under the surface of your city.
Very well. I expect he is anticipating your assistance. He works very hard for the survival of our species, as indeed I hope you will too.
As I think we already may have done. With that, we take our leave and carry on towards the building in question.
You're walking through the door into the elevator, remembering the button that Captain Thema pressed previously. The elevator flies up, opens the door. There's Dr. Sherman, and that's where we leave it for this evening.
Good game.
Well done, everyone. Excellent work on that, Davok. I knew that you never go anywhere without your Vulcan science officer. That is a given in this galaxy.
Yeah, there was a lot of chances of 20s there. I'm surprised you managed to escape that. Lucky rolls.
I was a little nervous doing an extended task because we're not that familiar with them, but that went swimmingly well, I thought.
Yeah, enjoyed that.
That was the first one I've been here for. It was quite fun, yeah.
As an aside to that, so I think in the rule book, it looks a lot. I think as I've read through that bit briefly myself, and it looks a lot more intimidating. But when you get into it, it's essentially a combat with a problem, not a combat with a person.
Exactly. Yes, and that's the general advice on the various forums and Reddit and what have you is treat it like combat. But yeah, well done, everyone.
That was well explained to us players as well. So thank you very much for that, Jim.
Oh, thank you. Now all you need to do is just make a resolution with regards to the Prime Directive. That shouldn't be difficult at all, should it?
Easy.
We can interrupt a game and talk for half an hour about that.
That's the game.
The building's falling in. Just a minute. Let's have a quick Prime Directive discussion here, team. Another room shaking.
No, you need time to chat about it.
I can't wait to hear Captain Wagner's perspective on this.
It's got a lot to mull over from what the team's gathered here. It should be interesting.
Well, he's a by the rules person, isn't he?
He sure is. I think he as many captains before him have, the idea of a loss of that much life might be the kind of thing that would motivate him to bend the rules a little bit. But we'll have to wait and see what the crew decides and what information gets presented from the planet to him in the first place. Yeah, that's it. Well, thank you everyone for joining us in chat, and hope you all enjoyed that. Oh, I think I'm good for the next one. I will double check very quickly. How's everyone else for fortnight's time?
Yeah, on paper, pretty good.
Should be good.
Possible.
21st.
21st.
I'm okay for it.
I will be in a hotel, but potentially should be able to connect.
We'll play it by ear, of course, as we always do, but we're looking okay. And don't forget to join tomorrow night for the watch along of the original series Mantrap to celebrate Star Trek Day.
Is that the one with the kind of...
No, that's Aliens.
No, the salt-sucking things.
The Salt Monster.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the one. That's the Mantrap. Yes. Yes, indeed. Except they can't exist because they're all extinct. As we know.
Course.
Yeah.
There was only 34 of them. I mean, 35.
It's always been 35.
Yes. And there will always be 34. Right, on that note, have a very good night, everyone. Have a good fortnight. Have a good Star Trek Day tomorrow. We will see you next time. In the meantime, live long and prosper, and peace and long life. Take care for now.